Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our broadcast here tonight. We've been having a little slight technical issue. That is why we're signing a little past 7 p.m. But we want to welcome you wherever you are tonight. We say thank you for joining us on this 146th edition in the Issues Room. Our broadcast tonight uh, will cover the current issue regarding the proposal by some Liberians that former Vice President Joseph Boakai and that of presidential aspirant Alexander Cummings merged to have one ticket. Now, people are saying Boakai as president, Cummings as vice president, but there are others who say Cummings as president and Boakai as vice president. Boakai said, man, I can't go back in that vice president thing. I do it for 12 years. Then I'm a star all over again. So I want to be president. That's the sentiments going around. So we'll be looking at it tonight. We'd like to encourage you to share the link. Mapu Hall, welcome. Invite others to join us here tonight. Going to be a great conversation. We already have Francis Dunor, who is our colleague and discussant currently in Liberia. He will be bringing us his firsthand experience as to what the people are saying. So, good conversation. Don't also forget we have the what type of country is this segment. And so we hope that you also have your stuff written down to join us here tonight. We probably will carry memory lane tonight. Something contributed by Dr. A. Manen Sumo. So we should be hopefully carrying another version that he just caught the last couple of days. So again, I'm Volcano Shelton. Let me go quickly across the pond and welcome Moses Sandy in Delaware. Welcome Alphonso, and also discussant Francis Donor. You can tell that Francis is in Liberia because he looks like a silhouette. Um, so, gentlemen, sorry for the delay. It's good to be back here. Furthermore, you welcome Shaggy McAfee. The evening is bright. The evening is nice. Man, it was cold today. I don't know about you guys on your ends, but this cold just came from nowhere. I started out this morning in short sleeve shirt, and I went outside around 12 o'clock. My man, I was shaking. I didn't go to work with jacket. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. So imagine we're in Pennsylvania. So I can imagine Francis is all the way in North Dakota.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard from his folks, but it was cold out here today.
Yeah. It wasn't not too bad for us here in Delaware. It was cool, but it was in the late 50s.
But you wearing long sleeve. How you? Don't act like what I'm saying. I said I was in short sleeve.
You know what you said? You reminded me when we went to Texas, my man.
Yeah.
It was
Got out of
actually
the airport, my man. They
Yeah.
go hit us.
it was actually a little chilly today. It was a little chilly. I mean, if you compare with previous days, where it was in the 80s, and then it just plunged to the 50s today. That's a big change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
as
don't know how
always,
cold it is. I don't know how cold it is where Francis Dunor is.
it's summertime. It is summertime in Liberia.
But yeah, but he's also in Miami. So
Yeah,
In Miami. And to be honest, this is the original Miami terrain anyway.
yeah.
According to the president,
Yeah.
George Weah.
Also, you ran near him.
In the Pinsway area now, the entire Pinsway belt at Miami. Because GSA wrote from part of that belt. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So,
So
for Liberia, I mean, growing up, when it used to rain heavily, then we feel a little chill. But right now, even if it rains, you can't feel chill. You stay hot.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's for you though. For the people who there, because the weather you coming from Going
Yeah.
down there, it's a
Yeah,
complete
it
change.
will
Yeah.
also be due to climate change because a lot of the trees and
Oh yeah, they cut everything
have
down.
all been cut down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't have that cover anymore. So
Shady, that's
yeah,
shady.
that
Blue
shade
river,
exactly.
yeah, kind
Yeah.
of. And so yes, S. Edward Nifo, welcome to the broadcast here tonight for you, Shaggy McAfee, and Mapu Hall. We hope that the numbers climb. We see a lot of difference here. We see numbers in our live feed, but we don't see a lot of people. Some people just want to remain backstage. They don't want to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
say that I'm here or
I,
chime in. But we'd like
I actually,
for you
I
to do
actually share the show or the promo with a lot of my folks out there,
good, good.
especially those that follow us. So I think it will show a little better than usual
Okay,
tonight.
so we got
Yeah.
Romeo debut. We got Gloria Voka Molva Cole. Welcome to the show. But listen, gentlemen, I I I know Moses. There was
Mhm.
something we wanted to just talk about briefly, and it has to do with the situation in Vonjama or in Lofa County
Look for corner. Yeah.
that had to do with Dr. Frank, who discharged a patient because the patient didn't buy specific drugs described or prescribed rather by him from the hospital where she was admitted and that he serves as chief medical officer.
Mhm.
You just want to touch on that quickly?
Yeah. I mean, you summarize the situation already. That story from Lofa County at the Telewayan Hospital is just a reflection of the entire medical situation in Liberia. I'm sure Francis can better articulate that because I heard him the other day when he was talking about what is happening at JFK with all these motorcyclists. Now, you tell me, guys, in the medical profession, I think there's an oath that makes it, illegal, for medical or unethical for medical doctors, to do anything that would endanger the
Hmm.
safety of the patients. And I think they call it a hypocritical oath or so, which says do no harm. Now, Dr. Wilmot of Frank is the administrator, and the lady went to the Television Hospital because she was sick. This lady, she's also a nurse. She runs a pharmacy. I mean, she runs her own, pharmacy in the Lofa area there. So she went to the hospital seeking help. And then, as they always do in Liberia, they prescribed drugs that they wanted her to buy, before being admitted. So they gave her the prescription. As someone who runs her own business, she decided to go, not to go to the pharmacy operated by the hospital, but she went to her own, pharmacy, and she brought the drugs. When she brought the drugs, according to what is reported out there, uh, the doctor gave directed that she should not be admitted because she didn't buy the drugs from the hospital. The instruction was buy from the hospital. So anyway, as the typical Liberian society, she was able to
So
maneuver her way.
you want me to just play a snippet of the video so it comes
Oh
to you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be nice. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, that would be nice.
Hello, viewers, and this is Today Liberia TV, and my name is Julius Howard. Here is Mistress Teresa Kenema. Of course, she is alleging that she has just been forcefully discharged from the Trawian Memorial Hospital, even as she is not well. She went at the hospital, she was rushed at the hospital since yesterday to seek medical attention because of her ill health, because of her condition. And but forcefully that Wilmot Frank, who's the doctor, the medical doctor of the Trawian Memorial Hospital, forcefully discharged her. She has the reason why. Let's welcome her to our camera. Teresa, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. You said what happened yesterday and up to today at the hospital?
Yeah, yesterday I was feeling pain.
Mm.
So I went to the hospital. I went and met Dad in the office,
Who's that?
Dr. Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he did some assessment for me, he said I ought to be admitted.
Mm-hmm.
So later he gave me prescription.
Mm.
He said I should try and get those medication and get back to him so that I can be admitted.
Okay.
So I had left. It was almost around 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I came to get the medication because I have a drugstore.
Mm-hmm.
I came I get most of those drugs from the drugstore.
Okay.
And I had carried them back and I explained to him, I said, I'm coming with the drug. But then he already left the office.
Mm-hmm.
But when I called him, they were feeding pain. I said that you need to come to my area. I'm not able to go home now because when I called him, he said I was waiting for you. It was almost after 3 going to 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot come back to the hospital there again. You have to wait tomorrow. So after some time, I called him back again. I said, you need to come to my area. Really, because I'm in pain and I will not be able to go back home now. I don't know what may happen overnight. So later he sent one of the staff and they came to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when they came, they asked me for the receipt that I bought the drugs from the hospital pharmacy. So I was bold. I told the lady, I said, no, that gave me the prescription that I should provide this medication. But then I went and brought those drugs really from my place. And I put something, some of my clothes in the bag to come and be admitted because I was not expecting admission. So that how I came, the lady said, but then you have to buy the drugs from the hospital. If you don't bring that receipt, you will not be admitted.
So you should buy the drugs from the hospital.
Pharmacy, yeah.
Or from the pharmacy in the hospital.
Because, yeah.
So that's the only way they will treat you.
Yeah, he said if I buy the drugs from the hospital pharmacy, they will give me receipt. That is the receipt they will use to carry me on the ward to go and admit. So I talked to her, I said, I beg you. So later she called Dad back, Dr. Frank back, and explained that the lady came with her medication. She didn't buy the medication from the pharmacy. But then later the admission fee was also on the paper. That how the lady asked me to go and do the payment for the admission and bring the receipt. I went and paid and brought the receipt for the admission and I presented to her and she carried me on the wall.
Okay.
And the medication, they started giving me the medication last night up to this morning, 6 o'clock. But when Dad came now this morning to do the run, he came, he asked me, he said, where is the receipt that you bought the medication from the hospital pharmacy? Other patients were there and other caretakers were there. I said, Dad, I'm sorry. I said, I even told the lady last night that I got the medication from my drugstore based on the prescription. I didn't bring it.
Okay.
I don't really have a receipt for it. So that how he told me, he said, but then if you don't have the receipt, if you can't buy the medication from the hospital, I'm going to discharge you this morning. I can continue the treatment. So I said, oh, Dad, I'm sorry. I beg you. So that how he left, he went to the nurse's station. I also went to him and I started appealing. I said, if I knew the way you are saying it, you could tell me, say, oh, you have to buy it from the pharmacy here before we do the treatment. I said, but then I could not bring the drugs. But I have already brought the drugs. I said, don't discharge me because of that. I'm very sorry. You have to consider that. How he told me, he said, he have already written my discharge and he cannot reverse it. So my husband came, they brought food for me now. When they came, I explained to him, I said, I will be discharged. And he left there, they called me, they say I have to come home.
What did they say is the problem? What did they say is happening to you? Did they do any checkup at the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did some checkup because when I went first, he asked me to go and do the payment, to do the ultrasound based on what I said. My stomach was really hurting me. I could not stand, I could not sit. So along with my back. So he said we needed to do ultrasound.
Okay.
So I went and did the payment for the ultrasound. He did the ultrasound. Then from there, I also went, he did a prescription that I should go in the lab to do some lab tests. He prescribed those lab that I'm supposed to do. But then I went, I did all the lab. When I went there, the one the hospital have, it was $1,230 and I did the payment, they gave me the receipt.
Okay.
I carried the receipt in the lab and the lab technician, they took the specimen and they did the lab.
Okay. So what's their reason
I think we should stop here because we have enough to go off on. But Moses,
Yeah.
what's your argument?
My argument here is that, and I'm sure you guys gonna support it.
No, I'm not supporting anything he said.
Okay, my argument, I got two salient arguments here.
Good.
First, the facility we're talking about is owned by the people of Liberia.
Okay.
It's funded by taxpayers of Liberia. One of the fundamental responsibilities of any government is to cater to the needs of its people. Someone's life in danger, went to hospital. That person should not be told that for the fact that you did not buy medication from our pharmacy, you cannot be treated. That was a complete violation of the medical oath that Dr. Frank took. The Hippocratic oath. Do no harm. What if that woman had died the next day? How will his conscience serve him? I think it's wrong. It should be condemned by everybody. And what happened in Lofa is just a reflection of what is happening across the country. Our people are being treated like animals. Where in the United States, Volcano, you and I go to, the medical doctor prescribed, medication and give you a list, say go across the street and buy the pills and bring it before we treat you. You treat the person and bill them. Let me stop there.
All right, let me hear from Alfonso.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation. Again, I don't know why she's saying that they're telling her that they can't admit her or they can't treat her because she didn't buy the medication from the hospital pharmacy. I mean, yes, I agree. If that is the reason, that's not good because I mean, we don't know the gravity of her health situation, and anything bad could have happened to her. And just saying that you must buy the medication. I understand. Maybe they have a policy in the hospital that says that the hospital doesn't have money to support the hospital and keep it running. We want people to buy medication from here, but at the same time, you can't force people to do it. And the bigger picture is, I wonder what happens to people who don't have money to buy medication at all. They don't get treated at all. They don't go seen at all because there are a few things you talk about. She had to buy the medication. She has to pay for the several tests to be run on her. She had to pay for admission fee, etc. What happens to somebody who goes to the hospital sick and doesn't have money to do all of those things? What
They
happens to
would
them?
die.
Yeah,
And let you
if-
die.
yeah. So I think that's the bigger picture that I will look at. Fortunately, she's still alive. Fortunately, she had the means, But what happens to the other people who don't have the means and who find themselves in a similar situation, especially in a place like Lofa, where there are not many alternatives, if any alternatives at all. So you can't say this hospital sent me home, or so I'm going to the next hospital or the next clinic because it's just one hospital there, and probably the rest of the clinics are hundreds of miles away. That's a big problem.
Let me hear from Francis quick. Let's go around the room quick because we don't want to spend a lot of time on this.
I come from Lofa, by the way. When the hair is rotting, don't think about the toes. That's the first basis. My first daughter is supposed to be 17 years today. You know where she died? She died at the door of Cali Junction. 3,500 Liberian dollar. It's not that they didn't have it. She drank kerosene from her car. That was actually reckless. If it were America, probably would be something different. I was at work at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Grandma and mom had rushed her on the motorbike to Cali, and they said they couldn't do anything until 3,500 Liberian dollar was paid. I got there with over 6,000 Liberian dollar, and she was already dead. By the time that baby saw me 1.5 years old, she took the last deep breath, and that was it. So if you haven't seen it yet, that was 2006. Then I don't think you have seen anything. That one, The normal thing. You know how they call it here? LRB. That's part of it. And it did not start today. It's been here all the time. But right now, it has been more exposed. As of today, civil servants have not taken pay for 3 months. But we got budget surplus, so according to the government from 2022 moving toward 2023. Okay? So I would say, yeah, the medical doctor kind of made a mistake because in the first place, how can somebody be sick? You do all of the assessment, you tell them go bring your own medicine, go buy medicine before we treat you. That's number one. Number two, does the hospital really have the capacity to care for the people? That's another issue right there. Are they getting the necessary resources, support, equipment from the government? That's another question we need to answer. Because we got somebody here who is doing political humanitarian, bringing ambulance, yeah, and budget, give it to CDC superintendent. But this is Mosurado County, though. They're renting yellow machine because this is a campaign time to greater the road. But that's Lofa County. So if people in Sony went Sinker, that's the height of the whole Morovia thing, right? Closer to the executive mansion. If they are going through that, then what about the people in Lofa? What about the people in Grand Jude, Grand Cru, and you name it? So the country is, I don't know, on the basis of, biblical reasoning, they say hell is really ugly, and that's a wildfire. Liberia is close, though, to hell in real time. Okay. So, I mean, that is just that. I mean, the government is responsible. That's it.
Thank you.
Even if she had died, it would have been free because my daughter died was free. And people are still dying at the door. There is no emergency system yet. No, there's no emergency. She's not even supposed to be asked for a penny. They're supposed to bill her after treatment. But that's what it is, my brother.
All right, but let me come from a different spin here. And I think I would disagree in part. And why I would disagree in part is, first, this woman claimed to be a nurse and owns a drugstore. What qualifies her to own a drugstore? How is she getting the drugs to run a drugstore? You and I know the story around the country that all of the medications in these hospitals that have been provided by the government, by being provided by donor agencies, are taken away by the very people who work in these hospitals, deny the ordinary people, and open low in the house clinics and in the house drugstore and create conflict of interest. The hospital does not have drugs because of this kind of behavior by the very healthcare workers. The doctor prescribed the medication and said, go and bring these medication, whether it was clear or not. His argument was the medication that was provided by this woman could have been expired. They didn't know the source of these medications, how these medications were presented to her. There is no receipt showing where these medications were brought from. So the doctor said that he would not treat her with medication that has no origin. Only she said it came from her drugstore. Okay? I'll give you an example. You have some garages where you go to carry a car and they tell you this is what you must get. We can provide it with warranty. You say, no, it's too expensive. I want to bring my own parts. And they tell you, say, if you bring your parts, we will not test your car. And they say, go to somewhere else, go to the on the side places where they will test your car. But we want to put factory designed parts in your car rather than generic brand, right? You've seen that. It happens here. So same, if the doctor feels that what this woman brought was not safe, he wasn't want to give her medication that he doesn't know its origin. And if he gives it to her and something happens, he may be blamed again. When you look at this, the situation here, of course, he could have treated. But how will he treat when there's no medication, public medication in the hospital? So as a result, all of the medications now, you and I know, in hospitals are sold by the hospital, probably for regeneration of more drugs to be able to keep the pharmacy going. Everywhere in Liberia now, you carry your own toiletries, you carry your own cleaning supplies, you carry everything to the hospital. And so it's no news. Why? Because the government is responsible. And the government sits there and appoint people who have their own personal clinics, who have their own hospitals in the case of the current health minister, who many of the county medical officers are also having their own private facilities taken away from the hospital. That is why we have in this situation.
So
But let's come to America where we make the comparison in the case of Moses.
yeah,
Of course, here in America, let me finish. Let me finish.
No. Real quickly, Volcano. So the lady says she owns a drugstore.
pharmacy.
We don't know that she runs the drugstore. She could have a pharmacist in there running the drugstore. We don't know that. We
She's
don't know
also a nurse.
She's a nurse.
So
Yeah.
where is she working and where is she getting her drugs?
That's my second point. That's my second point. So she says she owns a pharmacy and she got the medication from her pharmacy. We don't know whether she's the pharmacist in that pharmacy. That's the first thing. She's a nurse.
She's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The second thing is, she took the medication to the pharmacy. We don't
to the
know.
hospital.
Yeah, sorry, to the hospital. You said the doctor said he wasn't going to treat her because second point, we don't know whether she even works at the hospital.
But
That video we watched didn't say that she works at that specific hospital.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
no, it is.
So we
it
don't.
doesn't say that.
Yeah.
but what other health
So,
care?
so we cannot argue that we cannot assume that the drugs might have been stolen by her. From
I'm just giving you but I'm just giving you
No.
a classic but Moses, let me finish my point. I'm just giving you a classic example
Yeah.
of what's happening in the country.
Yes,
All of
that
the
is
healthcare practitioners have
Mhm.
the little clinic in their homes now because it's the survival mode. Whatever they see, they take it and carry it. So I'm not
Yep.
pointing finger to her particularly, but I'm just giving you the scenario of what's
Yes.
happening in America. I mean, in Liberia.
in Liberia. You're
So-
correct.
So
You're
when
correct.
we come to the American issue, of
Mhm.
course, yes, there are places where in this country they won't treat you if you don't have insurance easily. Certain
Well, no.
When
The
you go to
law in
emergency,
this-
you
Volcano,
go
I
to
law-
emergency, they will
disagree with
treat
the
you.
law in this country is in an emergency
I just-
situation.
yeah,
They must
emergency,
treat you. They must
They will treat you.
stabilize you.
Yes.
They must do that. And once they do that, then they can send you
They
to
can
your
discharge you,
primary
yeah.
or whatever. They can discharge you once
Yeah,
you're stabilized, and then you
but-
can go to your
But
primary.
in her case, she even slept there, right? She slept there. According to her, she was admitted. The next day, she went and got whatever. So there were some things done to accommodate her. But in the same token,
Mhm.
if there are specific medication that you must get, doesn't the doctor prescribe it and say go get the medication?
And that's
Yeah.
what she brought.
in America?
on a
For the
script,
Volcano.
Just to
except that
add
the
up-
doctor was saying the specific place you must buy it from. That
Yeah,
was
but
the only difference.
but in the first place, I'm coming. Let me finish this quick. The
Yeah.
script written by the doctor
Mhm.
who was able to decipher what those medications were. It's the
Mhm.
same woman who owns her own drugstore. Go
Mhm.
there and
Mhm.
say, "Yo, look here. They wanted an A there. They wanted an A there, whether they were generic or whatever." That she collected them. Why she didn't bring receipts to show, the credibility of where the drugs came from? Because that was part of the argument here.
Can I just offer small information? Volcano?
Francis, let
Mhm.
me just say something quickly, and I will let you comment. Volcano, everything that you say, honestly, my friend and brother, I beg to differ with you.
Okay.
They are not supportive. Assume that for the first woman is a nice, a family that has complete relationship to us, and to seek the medical doctor prescribe medication. Go and get medication. They didn't tell her, go to our pharmacy. They told her, go and get medication. She went, she brought medication. She was admitted. She paid admission fees and all of that. She was admitted. She was being treated. The doctor came the next day. He became angry that why she didn't buy drugs from the hospital. Doctor, you are in the wrong. Even like in the United States, Volcano, I've been to emergency. You go to emergency. I was admitted at emergency for over 3-4 days. Later, they send my bill in the mail. People stay for weeks. They bill you. I know I'm trying to compare apple, what they say, apple and oranges. But in the situation with Liberia,
yeah, but
it is wrong. But it is wrong for medical
let's
doctors.
let's honestly try to make comparison, Moses. Let's try to make comparison between Liberia and Sierra Leone, Liberia and Ivory Coast, Liberia and Guinea. Why we always try to make Liberia a part of America?
Do you have any data to support that in Sierra Leone, when people go to the hospital, they tell them, say, if you don't buy the drugs, go home?
But that's why we're supposed to be researching instead of trying to make the comparison. The two countries are completely contrast.
Yeah.
Volcano, let me just add it, right? In the first place, for example, the number one popular pharmacy in Liberia right now, they call it Abia.
No, Lucky.
Lucky is they have a branch on 24th Street opposite JFK, but they are not as popular as Abia, because Abia sell wholesale and retail. Lucky does only retail. Okay, so we are lucky there. Lucky, Abia, Inter Pharmacy, Sherry Pharmacy is perceived to have the best medication. They don't get no receipt.
But they don't give
all of it. They do not issue receipt.
Maybe you ask for it.
Okay, well, I don't need to ask for it. Oh. In America, everything we do, you don't need to ask for receipt. They're supposed to issue receipt. So that's number one point. That's number one point. Number two.
What are you telling me about?
Even the grocery stores here, you go to your bar, they offer you receipts.
No, some places you must ask for receipt, otherwise they won't give it to you. Trust me, I'm telling you.
Let me just make my point quickly. Number one. Number two.
Fast food places don't give you receipt.
Number two.
Fast food places don't give you receipt. You have to ask for the receipt if you need it.
I do not really have fundamental problem with folks that compare Liberia to that of America. I think the logic is simple. I know that's an open society, very advanced. We can't really try to, but public policy, constitution, flag, even the people in government running it today, they all went to school there. Volcano, the same way you live in America today, I live there, I come to visit Moses there, Alphonso there. That's how folks here were there. You're talking about Funatico for the last time, right? We talk about, Buffer Chima, right? Speaker of the House. So the point here is, every majority of our people, administrators, political administrators, in America, they went to school in America, and they learn all the good book. They learn, they live in a good environment. They come to Liberia, they don't even follow. Now, the same system that got in America, before you can have a pharmacy, we call it drugstore, yeah? You got to have a pharmacy to even be able for the Ministry of Health under the pharmacy board to give you license. Majority of those people that dispensing medicine in Liberia, some of them are not even graduated from nursing school yet. But hold on a minute. There's a doctor that working at JFK that particular drugstore or pharmacy under their name, and those nurses, so-called nurses, or pharmacy, or clinic, not even clinic, but drugstore owners, they pay them. So for us to say they are stealing the medicine until we can offer a tangible proof, then I don't think we should be holding them responsible, because in the first place, they're not supposed to be inside that small hut, they call it drugstore or pharmacy, dispensing medicine when they didn't go to any medicine school. They are not even pharmacy. Even in America, or they got med tech that will just be on the side, to serve customers. But anyway, it is the way it is, my people. That's how it is here. No receipt for that thing. Generic, not generic, come from India.
But I still want folks here tonight. From a Livingstone, honestly, there's places where you buy here. If you don't ask for a receipt, they don't give it to you. Especially the Asian stores. most of the Asian stores don't give you receipt.
But you know they are Gorbachev people now.
Yeah, and
What are you talking?
some of the other places like restaurant, fast food, you do that receipt. But gentlemen, I think our country, these are the things that show that we have a long way to go, and I don't know how long is that way, but I don't think the distance to be covered is in our lifetime. I'm just honest about it. It's a long way, and the current configuration we have in the country now, in this political dispensation, and all of the people who are vying to be president, I don't see any one of them really going to take us this long way and make the compelling change that we need. I think the scary part here before we introduce the segment is that we allowed ourselves to go rock bottom. And when you get to rock bottom, to come back up, it takes everything. Everything. At one point, we were right in the middle of the abyss, but we've hit the bottom. And that is why you have everything happening in the country. Because the simple example I gave of the conflict of interest, if you have people who are in health care business, but at the same time being appointed to a position where they oversee, material coming in, medical supplies and all of this, and you don't do anything about it, when the conflict of interest is pointed and clear, then of course, you're going to have this kind of problem. So if the health minister is taking, then what do you think the nurses and the doctors will do? They will take as well. So that is why most of our facilities are in peril. They are just operating on the front. But when you get in there, you know that you have to pay for everything. Everything. I mean, this is, she locked us in who are hostage for the small one, like in JFK, where they're holding people hostage. The doctor was nice to say, go home, don't come back. in other scenarios, they will feel hostage. But let's start this conversation, gentlemen, and that is why we're here tonight. Lately, we've seen a bunch of young people and grown up, particularly led by former Senator John Baloo, making a passionate plea to the former Vice President Joseph Boakai and that of presidential aspirant Mr. Alexander Cummings to merge on one ticket. They're saying that the best alternative, the best and final alternative to Liberia's problem in unseating President Weah is this merger. They believe wholeheartedly that both men putting their resources, their talent, their education, their experiences together will make the perfect ticket in a one round. He even termed this merger as the political jolobo. And for those of our viewers all over the world who don't know what jolobo means, it's a medicinal treatment by leaves common to our country that we give for laxative purpose to run the stomach in the layman term. So jolobo means to run the stomach. So when you come to think about it, one group is saying, yes, this is good. But there are insiders here tonight who say no. And why? Some of the things pointed is that the CPP came together for this purpose, but apparently and allegedly, rather, Cummings kind of tampered with the framework document that led to the infighting, to the breakup, and they even went to the Supreme Court, and former Vice President Boakai went to testify, and all of that created the bitter pills that today Liberians are swallowing. So I thought to lay all of this before you. We'll start with Francis, since he's on the grounds, to tell us, first of all, what has he seen? What are the people talking? Who are some of the people he's spoken with? and many Liberians wanting this ticket, and who should be the president and who should be the vice president, because both men are adamant. Boakai saying, I did it for 12 years, I can't do it to be vice president. Cummings said, I came here to be president, I didn't come to be number 2. So let's hear from you, then we'll go around the room with Alphonso and Moses.
I personally feel, I respect former Maryland Senator Barrow, but I think the conversation about Boakai Kumitike is dishonesty. And the reason is simple. Senator Barrow is a best friend of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And I don't know whether he's still a member of the Unity Party, but I can say for sure he was a member, probably still a stalwart. Where was Senator Barrow when all the CPP Yogo was going on? Where was he? If President Sirleaf was sitting president 2017, did not play any leadership role to make Joseph Boakai president, how can President Sirleaf not play leadership role for Boakai to be number 1 on the ticket, Cummings number 2 on the ticket to make Boakai president? That's number 2. Number 3, we had a combination of 4 political parties that built the CPP for the purpose of winning election 1 round or maybe through runoff. This was the first time, based on successes achieved by the original CPP framework, that the Liberian people themselves came up with that ticket. Joseph Boakai Alexander B. Cummings ticket. This was the first time since 1997. Okay? Now, let's go to another history. Since 2005, there have been no presidential candidate that have won election without going to the runoff and run to Nimba County. Whether it has been pay for play or play for pay, that it doesn't matter. But Nimba has always caught the tie. Now the point here is, vice president on the political ticket is based on trust. Cummings and Boakai, according to their own admission, they have been friends for a long time. But on Cummings' side and Boakai's side, not Boakai himself, not Cummings himself, their surrogates, their supporters are a loggerhead with each other, and they are very arrogant and bitter with each other. And like somebody said on Spoon Talk tonight, right? Everybody in both camps already know their position in the future government. In the future government, they all know it. And that is the reasons why it will not work. For Senator Barrow to sit all this time and wait for 5 to 6 months to general election to come and say, Cummings is the best. But you know what? He need to go second. And let him go with old man Boakai. After old man Boakai, then we'll see what we can do. And go further to call on Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to use her quote-unquote influence to make it happen. Where was he when Madam Sirleaf and old man Boakai got money for Lofa Road project that it already stopped? Because CDC said Lofa people should promise them that they will vote for them before they can continue. Okay, it stopped. I'm not going there. They sourced that money out for that project through the Arab people. Where was Senator Barrow when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf went on the highway and carried George Weah and gave him shovel to break ground to build the road that going to Boakai home? Where was he? Part of our problem is not just the lack of education. It is the issue of dishonesty and insincerity on our part in our governance space. And majority of the people are greeted. That ticket is low. That ticket been there long since. The funeral service have been held, and it is done with. This is a how do I call it? Worthless propaganda built in by Ellen and her surrogate and the Abalu to bring it forward. If you really serious that you want to make peace, why couldn't you make peace ever since?
So what
Why
you
couldn't
hearing
you
from,
make peace ever since?
so what you hearing from people now on the grounds?
What I'm hearing is Joseph Boakai is coming up with his running mate at the end of the month, according to the Secretary General of the Unity Party. And that running mate is coming from Nimba County. And based on my own political care, it's going to be Jeremiah Kuhn. Take it from me.
So how about the
It's going to be Jeremiah Kuhn.
How about the Henry Costa situation too?
Oh,
my man Moses depending on it.
According to behind the scenes conversation,
it's been definitive. I think he said it is being reported.
Hold a minute. My man, I'm not journalist. I just told you. I'm a political analyst. The way you do all that, you're plenty writing without inside that thing. I'm telling you, I'm an insider when it comes to the Joseph Boakai support.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Whether Cummings likes it, he doesn't like your opposition, not like it. I'm not too positive that we'll go one pound and somebody will, because everybody got somebody. But the good news is we're going to beat the CDC. And the reason we're going to beat it is simple. They got nowhere to run. Okay? Because even if we go to the runner and we got Jeremiah Kuhn on our ticket, you're not going to Nimba. And the simple reason is Liberians don't want to keep living the way we're living now. 15 minutes to this conversation, they lie when I can't call nobody and I pay for it. The country has become useless because we took somebody who used their football career money, they gamble it, and we made them president. There's nowhere going on in this country in real time. Nowhere, nothing serious yet. The only investment they have succeeded bringing to this country, that keke and motorbikes. That's the investment. So our brothers and sisters go to high school, they get to 12th grade, they pay their school fee, they graduate, they buy them keke. Right now, citizens are buying keke and motorbike for people. Josephine David, the former Inspector General, carried money to Oro, Yekakolba District, to give it to market women so that she can buy votes. Okay? So it's nothing, everything. Now you're talking about medical, everything in this country is about political interest. That's it. Nothing serious here. And you know what? Liberians are not silent. They are grieving inside their stomach. They are angry inside there. They can bring biometric. They can bring China metric. They can bring German metric. They can bring American metric. Liberians are going to vote against Josh Weah. And he's not going to run to Nimba County because what? We're getting the running mate from Nimba. The seats are 5.5. I think, according to Prince Justice, 7.5 million. How can you do that, Volcano? Those of us that did public budgeting, you get more money than expected, but you can't pay your people. Then what are you doing? What are you doing with the money? This is the first time I see government steal their own money. I went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The people go outside with buckets. They hold water, they bring it inside. Employees got to buy their own toilet tissue. I wanted to take a picture, but I felt ashamed. And the woman said, my brother, take it. I went there before. I don't want to put that out there. I'm telling you, it is serious. Okay. No light.
Let's hear from the other panelists.
So I mean, that is why it is, my brother. We're going to beat them.
Okay. So, from what I'm hearing, Moses, the merger will not take place from Francis, and the sentiments regarding what is trending on both sides. It's not just the two men who don't want to see each other. They're willing to, but the other people already know their position. I will be foreign minister. Then when they do their thing, maybe, I won't get my job. So we'll bounce grumble until the men go home a separate way. What do you think, gentlemen? What do you think? You think this thing gonna happen?
Well, look, from my end, first, this is what I would like for us to set straight. I heard Francis say, where was the former senator Barlow? For the fact that it didn't happen 10 years ago, it doesn't mean that it can happen now. If you didn't do something before, there's no restriction that stops you from doing it now. And then the second thing I want for Francis to also be mindful of, Francis did say that the former senator, is a good friend of the former president. However, what is in the public domain, the former senator has never claimed to be speaking on behalf of the former president. There's no public record that speaks to that. So let's be mindful with that. Okay, now this is what I would like for us to do. From my end, this is what I would like for us to do.
Hold on, Moses. Say that quick.
Quick clarification. Go back to Spoon Talk edition April 13.
Did he say that he was acting on behalf of President Salif?
He did not say he was acting on behalf of President Salif. He said he and President Salif have been friends long time, even before he became senator.
Yeah.
And he called on him, on her publicly to play a leadership role to bring the two people together. Since, in fact, she and Boakai had a good relationship, including being the vice president to her for 12 years. She and Cummings as well had a good relationship. I did not say Senator Balu said he was speaking on behalf of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, but he called on Ellen publicly to make sure this thing comes apart.
Let's get something right here. Are you telling us that the former senator told Spoon that he was calling, or he did call on Mr. Sirleaf to play a leadership role in bringing Mr. Cummings and Mr. Boakai together? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. If that is what you're saying, we accept that. But what I was trying to correct, you conveyed to us that the former senator and Mr. Sirleaf are good friends. Where was he when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did not support the Omen Joseph Boakai? So the point I'm making here is the senator is speaking now, but he's not speaking for Mr. Sirleaf. He's speaking as a Liberian who is concerned about the future of Liberia. Now, this is what I would like for us to do. From my end, I would like for us to look at the two candidates. What do they bring to this table? Joseph Boakai, let's look at the pros. Joseph Boakai brings over 40 years of leadership experience. The name Joseph Boakai resonates at home and abroad. So it means that he has name recognition. He's popular. He's experienced. He did this for a year. Okay, let's look at Cummings too in that angle. Cummings is a corporate executive, former corporate executive. He's known both at home and abroad. So he brings some level of strength, and
I don't think you should say some level of strength. When you're talking about money management, I think Cummings has more over Boakai. Because
I'm just looking at what each of them bring to the table.
Yeah, but don't say some level, then you're minimizing what he brings to the table. I'm just wanting us to balance it. Because if you look at what Cummings has led, budgetary wise, Boakai can't even come close to it.
Yeah, but being a corporate manager for a company is quite different from being a president or a vice president.
Especially Liberia.
Those are two different things. You bring in you got somebody who was just a doorstep away from the presidency, who ran the politics of contemporary Liberia. Cummings has never. He was in a structured environment. There was a system. You understand? So there's a distinction between the two of them. Now let's look at the positivity. Both of them come from political parties. Joseph Boakai has a lot of followers. The UP is very popular. Okay, when we look at Alexander Cummings in that direction, that's a negative for Alexander Cummings. The ANC is not popular. The ANC is restricted to Monrovia, to a few group of people who are in the United States. Okay? Now, let's look at another negative thing here too. Omen Boakai, age is not in his favor. He's older. That's his limitation. So that will also be considered when the election comes. And then Alexander Cummings, what's going to be considered? Is he known in Liberia? Why didn't he win a Maryland County when he ran for president? He did not. So that's his own limitation. He's not known. So each of them got strengths and weaknesses. And like Francis said earlier, when you look at the both camps are divided when it comes to this merger, the whole idea of merger. A good number of people in the Unity Party, like you said earlier, have already carved out for themselves their respective positions. So they think that if Moses Sandy comes today from ANC, Moses Sandy may become the next Minister of Information. And this guy will be running behind. This guy will be running behind Joseph Boakai all those years. We say, well, I will do everything possible to make sure that Moses Sandy doesn't become Minister of Information.
Unless they're using Marans. You know Marans? Alphonso, you know the Marans, right?
No, I don't.
So the guys are already
Who's still using Marans?
Yeah, the guys are already carved out the position, you know. So that's one of the complications, Jeremy.
But let me come in
to talk.
Yeah.
But these guys who are behind there are polarized. They're doing everything they can to drive that wedge. Have you listened to Mr. Kishen Manel? He said, oh, hey, there, buddy.
But you a down.
but let me ask you guys. Let me come into this conversation.
When you listen to quickly, okay. When you listen to the Daha loyalist of the UP, they say, oh, what a dear body. So then where are we? This is where nationalism comes in. Country first. Let me stop there for you, Alphonso.
So my question is why should it even happen? Like, why should they even come together? The people who are arguing that they should come together, I wonder what reasons they given that the two people should come together. I mean, I've heard them say, oh, when they come together, it would just be one time they will win or whatever. But I don't see any evidence that
I can answer that question for
you.
Okay.
And I'm just paraphrasing my response here. Okay. Are they saying so because they believe that the both of them will bring as Liberian people say, the numbers and therefore win? Is that the calculus?
That's the calculus.
Or is the calculus, if that is a calculus, is that what the Liberian people need? You know, it's what we are looking for, just numbers. After all, we got George Weah. There were people who went to George Weah and said, come and run because you're popular and you can win. And they're using George Weah today to get whatever they can get. So are we also looking for popularity to just get people in so that we can also go after them and get what we want to get, or just to take George Weah out and replace them with another non-performing group of people? So what is the calculus? If that is the calculus, that's an incomplete calculus to me. I think that's the first and foremost we should be looking at. Now, let's go to the last elections. How many votes did Cummings win? How many votes did Boakai win? How popular are they now? So let me even question.
I wanted to answer your question.
Yeah, let me even question that numbers calculus. If you look at the previous election, the numbers calculus still doesn't hold. So it's again is another question here. If you look at the numbers that both of them put together got the last time, what
Cummings was a little over 100,000.
Prince Johnson can't head of Cummings, you know that?
Yeah.
Prince Johnson from Nimba County.
Well,
it's frozen.
Moses, answer his questions. Go ahead.
Okay. So he asked a question if it is possible, or why people think that these two people should come together, and why people believe that this is going to work. In 2020, the May 10 election, we saw the unity. That's a graphic example of opposition unity, the May 10 election for Volcano. Significant numbers. In fact, majority of legislative seats were won by what? Opposition politicians.
Yeah.
Now, why we think if we why Liberians believe that with Cummings and Boakai, it's going to be an easy ride. When you bring these two guys together, they have supporters with the support of other opposition political parties, the number gonna go high.
That's precisely my question,
Okay,
Moses.
and
So
then
you
they're gonna
have,
put up,
you
they're
have,
gonna put up, a strong defense. Don't forget now,
so why
you
don't
are
you
going
bring?
against an
But let's bring
incumbent.
Boakai. Let's bring Boakai and Gongolo together. They are from the opposition, and let Cummings join them too. Let's bring Cummings and Kanga together, and let Boakai join them too for
Alphonso,
opposition. If our argument here is opposition unity, then why are we focusing on these two people as if they are the only ones in the opposition?
they
Let
demonstrate.
me
And
just
why is the opposition boxing itself in a hole by saying that unless those two people come together, we will not win?
No, I don't think the people are
Because
saying that unless.
that's what they're saying. They're saying if these two people do not come together, CDC will win. There's somebody who was telling me it's even a CDC propaganda because they know that those two people will not come together. So they're trying to drive a wedge in the opposition by saying, unless these two people come together, the opposition will not stay together. So when they sell that message, and these two people indeed do not come together, which doesn't seem it will be the case, then the opposition will indeed remain divided, as it was, in fact, in 2017, when Mr. Cummings and the late Councillor Bromskin decided that in the second round they wouldn't support Boakai in the second round against George Weah. So I think the opposition, by even having this conversation about Boakai and Cummings or nothing else, I think the opposition is boxing itself in a hole, in a box, rather than expanding the horizons. There are other people. Yambli Kanga is it. Let's Mr. Dunor talk about Kun coming from Nimba and has the Nimba vote. Well, Yambli Kanga is Bassa. She has the Bassa vote.
but she already on the
Look
team.
at the Bassa vote. Look at the Bassa vote. The Bassa vote is from Grand Bassa. It's from Riverside. It's from Margibi, and it's from Monserrato. One of the reasons why today we have a senator from Monserrato is because of the Bassa vote. So the Bas and Monserrato is the most populous county. Let's go to Nimba. Let's look at Tiawan Gonglo. So let's put Kun and Tiawan Gonglo, and even what's his name, Cummings and Tiawan Gonglo. Let's look at the votes that Cummings can bring that he got the last time, and let's look at the votes that Tiawan can also bring from Nimba County. If we go by the calculus that's on the ground, Mr. Kun can bring votes from Nimba County, which is quote on the gear vote. Mr. Councillor Gonglo can bring the man on vote as well. Again, if that is our calculus to say that they will bring votes to the equation. So I think we need to begin to start thinking and trying to educate our people about things other than where people come from and popularity and these kinds of things, because we will continue to fall in the same trap.
So what I'm hearing from you, I'm coming quick. What I'm hearing from you, Alphonso, there's a lot of plausibilities, and we should look at all of these plausibilities instead of being boxed in with the Cummings and Boakai being the ultimate ticket. And I think it's the word ultimate, ultimate ticket. So and where we are and all of what we've seen on an everyday basis is seemingly almost impossible that this is going to happen, because we have few more days or several days from now when Mr. Boakai will make that decision as to who will be his running mate. Of course, are they all waiting for him? Because Cummings could have chosen his running mate by now. There are still few guys in the country. I'm hearing in some quarters that Cummings is leaning toward Gonglo. I'm hearing that. So who knows? So there's a lot of options on the table, and I think we should explore those options. But let's come back to the fact here that let's look at the camps. The two men may have crossed that fiasco that took place.
Rubicon.
Yeah. But let's look at the camps. we talked about Moses. You mentioned regarding some people already know that.
got their positions.
Yeah, they already know the position. And John Balu maybe going to be chief negotiator for the new government, so he already know his position. But why is it that people tend to put personal aggrandizement before patriotism? Considering where our country has come from, all of the people now who are in these camps, a lot of them have been former government officials who have pillaged what was left for our people, who have bought big homes across the other parts of the world, offshore accounts, even have investments in the country, personal investments, and yet they still want to drive these people in the direction for their own personal gains. Why are these people continuing to hurt the Liberian people? I think the Liberian people themselves are what type of people are these? Yeah. Because if these people really knew what they want, this is the moment for them to decide this. I'll give you an example. We have videos trending here where hundreds and hundreds of women dressed in CDC regalias and uniforms are running all over the place with Josephine Davis leading the march that they're going to vote for George Weah. So the country is not leaned in one direction. So for us to sit here and believe that potentially this ticket, like Alphonso say, is the ultimate ticket to unseat President Weah, that could be far-fetched. So let's look at the camps. Who are some of the stalwarts? Let's start with the Unity Party.
So I'll come in quickly. I don't know the stalwarts, but I just want to piggyback on a point that you made, that some of the previous government officials are actually trying to navigate us into a direction where they want to go in. And we, unfortunately, we seem to be falling for that direction. The fact that Mr. Balu and other people might be wanting to push us in that direction, it could mean that that's where their interests are. I mean, and as I said before, why is Mr. Balu or the other people are not saying, oh, we want a Boakai Gonglo ticket? Maybe they're afraid of Gonglo, that Gonglo will go after them and insist that they get prosecuted. Why are they not saying other people, who are also in the race, or even others who are not in the race that can also bring votes, but that will hold people accountable? So that point that you made earlier is really profound. That might very well be the reason why they're trying to navigate us in a direction that they will benefit from in terms of jobs or influence, but also in terms of protection from things that they might have done in the past. Who's going to protect them? So those could be the reasons why. And we need to be mindful and conscious of those things.
Quickly, before you guys come in, let me just remind the audience here that we're in the Issues Room 146 edition. We're discussing the projected or proposed merger with Boakai and Cummings on one ticket to unseat Weah come 2023, October 10th. The sentiments is pervading the atmosphere. A lot of folks are talking about it. Some people are fence-sitting, some people are neutral, some people are for, some people are against. So there is not one accord with regards to this proposal as being put forth by former Maryland Senator John Balu and the young people from the opposition bloc who are propagating this agenda. We see that some of the insiders of both camps are in no accord on this. And that is why we're talking about this tonight. We'll open the line right now. The number to call, 4042722808, 4042722808. If you want to weigh in, we want to know if you support a ticket. That's all. Just say you're in support and maybe one reason. And we'll be appreciative if you can call here tonight. Francis Dunor is in Liberia. He's joining us from that end. Moses Sandy in Delaware, and Alphonso in the northeast of the state of Pennsylvania. We We say thank you for joining us, all of you. Don't forget, after this segment, we're going to go into what type of country is this, and potentially we'll swing by memory lane. There's something I'm sure out there for you tonight, gentlemen. So let's talk about the camps.
Yeah.
Who are some of the profound stalwarts you think could be the impediment or hindrances to the potential for this merger?
Merger. Well, I would say before I even begin to name individuals who
And
are considered to be,
it could be speculated. It could be
yeah,
a
these are just
yeah.
speculation, but there are key players in each of the
All right.
camps.
Just before you come in, Moses, let me take this caller quick. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. The caller calls from Maryland, the USA, not Maryland County, Liberia. The number is 1243, the last 4 digit. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shelton, for taking my call. My name is Joseph Conto, and I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Sir, the issue here is I think the main question is not being asked when this issue about opposition unity, especially when it comes to forming a ticket between both Boakai and Mr. Cummings. The reason is that no one had ever said or ever stated that Mr. Boakai had reached out to Mr. Cummings to ask him to be his running mate. Boakai hasn't done that. And some of the reason why these people cannot come together is because of some of the statement that Mr. Sandy made on the show. If you look at Mr. Cummings and say nobody know him, he doesn't have the number, but Boakai does, then why you need him? Why do they need him to form a ticket with Mr. Boakai? Why should Mr. Boakai choose him? So saying these things about Mr. Cummings also help Mr. Boakai not to think in the direction of asking Cummings. And we're seeing that. On the other hand, Mr. Cummings actually reached out to Mr. Boakai and asked him, look, lift my hand up, support me, and we can work together, and you can choose my vice running mate. Mr. Boakai had never responded to it up to this date. So what can we do? Should Mr. Cummings go on his knees begging Mr. Boakai to choose him as being his running mate, when we all know that it is the presidential candidate who can choose the running mate, not the running mate choosing the presidential candidate? So we need to be honest when we're having a discussion. We need to be honest because it kind of confuses the Liberian people, and the conspiracy behind this is to pin Mr. Cummings as this guy who don't want to have opposition unity. That's what it is.
And he too
Thank
greedy.
you so much for taking my call.
He too greedy.
Yeah.
Volcano, before he goes, can we ask
I
him
just
a
wanted
question?
to clarify something.
Quick, gentlemen, hold on.
Yeah.
So before you go, Joe, what is your decision now? Do you support or do you not support?
I do not support it. I do not support it for one bit.
And why?
Well, the reason is even they are bad blood. And quite honestly, our generation now, we believe in accountability. We believe in this thing that when someone wrongs you, at least they should own up to it. And Mr. Boakai have not done that to Mr. Cummings. They lie on him in our case, and we also what happened. That had not happened today. In fact, he referred to Mr. Cummings as an outsider. He called him a strange package. I mean, come on, that's so disrespectful. Seriously. Yeah. And then Mr. Palu and all, I mean, say demanded that Mr. Cummings should go as vice president to Boakai, that's disrespectful. I mean, I don't support it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are you there still, Joe?
He gone.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So
was this stuff grounding?
oh no, it was okay.
That was
Oh,
good.
okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Something he said that I just wanted to speak to a little bit. He talked about Omer Boakai. Mr. Cummings said, I think he said Mr. Cummings asked Omer Boakai to lift a hand. And I'm sure what he implying is that Omer Boakai should carry him as presidential candidate, that Omer Boakai should support his bid for the presidency. I mean, come on now. Let's be human here. Someone who served for 12 years. 12 years as vice president of Liberia. He put his hat in the race for the presidency.
Then you say it should be VP to you. Or in fact,
Yeah, and someone who coming
That's-
from corporate America. And I'm not trying to be condescending here. But I'm just want us to be rational here. If I am just a door away from the presidency, you have never tested state power, and you want me to come and live your hand as a presidential candidate? Let's be rational people. This is not a campaign for Mr. Boakai. We are just being human here. Let's have intelligent conversation, gentlemen.
Okay,
Is that doable?
So let me throw this.
Can I just add up quickly, saying you guys
ahead.
were discussing the camp? You know, from the beginning, I said there is a big dishonesty and insincerity in the whole issue of calling for Boakai Cummings or Cummings Boakai ticket. The ANC have come up with so many allegations against Joseph Boakai. Number one, he doesn't have money. They say so. Cummings has money. Number two, he has no exposure to the international community to attract investors if he becomes president. Number three, he's sick. He get pacemaker. That Dr. Richardson, who is a diehard supporter of Alexander Cummings, said, in fact, Boakai has connected problem. The brain functioning good. Membrane problem, right? I'm not a professional in psychology, okay? But that's what she said. Number four, he's too old. But this is a question. Let's be honest, like you said, let's be human. They said Boakai has been in government for 45 years. Alexander Cummings has not been in government for any day, according to them. But Alexander Cummings says he started at LBD. Okay, holy constant. Public private funded bank. Okay, good job. He worked for Coca-Cola. Let me tell you something. Anthony Sayer worked for World Bank before Ellen Tapper to serve as Minister of Finance. I felt so sorry for that woman. When things were going the way they went, she was invited to the house. That woman was sweating profusely that she must go off. This Liberia, to run this place is not difficult. But our people are very, very dishonest. If you're coming for Coca-Cola, so your early retirement was to become president. And the president said, you're not coming to pick it up. We have to give it to you. And you came 7% the last time. You say you're more than that. Okay, let's hold it constant. But this is a question. Somebody is sick. Somebody is old. Somebody ain't got no money. Somebody got mental problem. They got all of the ugly adjectives. You want them to put your hand out to make you president? You want them to advise you to be a good president? How can that possibly happen? Number one. Number two, people talking about Nyobli Kanga. I agree. Nyobli I won election 2 times. On expired term and regular term. Okay, in Grand Bassa County. I agree with you. Bassa got Bassa belt. River said Bassa belt. Significant portion of Montserrat County, Bassa belt. Magibi Bassa belt. But all of the elections, the 3 elections for the most part, from 2005 coming to 2017, nobody had won it on their own without going to Nimba County. And you see why Nyobli has a problem with Liberty Party. I said to people behind the scene, as a political man, our multi-party system here in Liberia, interesting political party has no limitation. We had the doctor here, the last one, Dr. Amos, right? He said his political party was in process to be approved, but we already got 22. He is the best, according to him. But he's not even joining anybody to make it better. Okay? So if he got lucky and, election commission get it through, we're going to be having 23. So why couldn't Nyobli and her own the Liberty Party group go and establish independent Liberty Party and keep it going? Because in my opinion, they have not done well. Her faction have not done well legally. Musa Blete and his faction continue to win election. Not election, excuse me. Continue to win legal battle against the Nyobli faction. How can Boakai tap Nyobli as a running mate when she having conflict in her backyard? It is not possible. I know she's been very supportive of the old man, but this is part of the reasons why I'm speaking for myself, okay? I'm not speaking for issues room. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not a trained journalist. I just political man, okay? So, if you're having a problem in your home, how can you represent or outside it? It is not easy. Nyobli, Dillon, and Steve Zago, they've been very supporters of the old man. And that is one of the reasons why the running mate issue have been delayed. But I can tell you for sure, another spokesperson of Unity Party, Nito Joseph Boakai, it is in the making. It is signed and sealed. All left is publication. Now, there's another issue quickly, gentlemen. We are going to the election. Cummings, plan B is 2029. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get that. Because he's not watching the political calculus. Let's put it aside, like you said. It is a strategist. Everybody get their time in this country when it comes to political season. This is Joseph Boakai time. Part of the strategy John Baru is portraying out there is it is going in favor of Omen Boakai. Do you guys know why key towers of Unity Party, former government officials of Unity Party, some of them, Unity Party government, why they have to go to Cummings? For example, Louis Brown. Number 2, Josh Wishner. My former boss, Assistant Minister of Foreign Ministry from the Investment Commission, right? Why do other Unity Party people, at some point, they were sedition, they came to Unity Party, why they got to even stay on board with Josh Weah? For example, Maryborough, Eugene Nangbe, Godwin Coma, even though he decided to go because they took him for police station and carrying to Indo concession. And the rest of them. Why? Somebody in the backyard, majority of the political work in this country, they are all state managed. Somebody in the backyard saying the old man is coming closer, we need to create a blockade to have our interest there. Like Alphonso said, right? People are afraid of prosecution.
Francis,
yeah, just quickly, a few seconds.
Get a caller, Francis.
So,
okay.
I'm going to tell the caller, just hold on. Let Francis end this in 30 seconds. I'll come to you. Go ahead.
30 seconds. Thank you. Yeah. Part of the problem is since 1997 to today, if not 1997, since 1980 to today, our government have not been able to hold anybody accountable for their wrongdoing, for their stewardship. And that is the reasons why things are going kakalika. Everything we're talking here is just part of dishonesty and greed for power. Because people get political power, they get everything. I just got probably in articles because they like him. And I got it now. I don't know how long you're going to be here. You're going to go back. Gentlemen, the running mate to Boakai coming from Nimba. I say it again.
Thank you.
I'll give it back to you.
Let's take the caller. Good evening, caller. Well, yeah, welcome. Welcome to the
How are you? This is John Harris. Yeah, I'm listening to Francis. I think everything Francis is saying is just a big bluff. Realistically, he knows that Boakai, whether he aligns with Cummings or he aligns with Gonglo or he aligns with anybody, the thing remains inevitable that George, we are going to win the elections. Now, let me just tell you one or two things why.
Yeah, I was about to ask you. So you.
Yeah, George, whether you like it or not, with all of the negative views being proffered by some people, that we are plundering the country or putting the country in serious or decadence, those realities existed before. And the government has been trying its best. It's not the first time people are taking pay. It's not the first time we've experienced pay delays. The government is frantically working to solve the problems. You talk about Boakai. Boakai was there in 11 years. What can Boakai change? It's just that the three guys who are in power, 12 years ago, want to come back to power. There will be no change. There will be no transformation. There will be no transmogrification. That's a big bluff by Francis. And come what may, October 10, most of you guys will cry blood because George Weah will overwhelmingly to beat them up, and they will tell you that George Weah cheated. There's nothing happening. No ticket there. Whether Cummings or Boakai or Cummings and anybody, nobody can beat George Weah. Take my word. Take it to the bank.
So before
Everything that's happening is illusionary. It's not a reality.
So
from the side of the first and all of that.
All right, so
Now,
hang on. The topic here tonight is Boakai Cummings ticket. Is political. Hold on now. It is a political jolo board. You're not on the ground. Hold on. You're not on the grounds. You don't know what's happening since the pronouncement of this proposed ticket with the combination of both gentlemen. It is glaring that it's a political jolo board. Do you, as a sedition, are you afraid of this?
No, that in fact, you know what? I support that thing because I know that thing is a total weakling. I will tell you, look at the diversity of the team. You put that team in front of George Weah, you'll drag them in the mud, and you will see what will happen. The only thing they will try to tell you now, the elections were stolen. That team is a complete weakling. I will give you an example. The Neiman factor will come into play. You saw Bronski and Harrison Kanwe's ticket. Harrison Kanwe, full-fledged Nimbayan. He went with Bronski. And what happened? Even though Prince Johnson came on the other side. But this time, you want to think about Harrison Kanwe and Boakai, it's a disaster. So how are you getting the numbers? You just imagining the numbers, Francis. Realistically, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Volcano, can I ask a quick question? Let me ask you a quick question, please.
Hold on. Yeah. Let me get Moses quick. Moses, ask the question.
I'll convey this question here. Convey this question here to him so he can answer us. Let him operationalize for us frantically working. He said the Weah administration is frantically working. How does he operationalize that? Then number two, let him just name 3 accomplishments of the Weah administration and why he thinks he should be re-elected. Let him name 3 accomplishments.
Okay. John?
Yeah,
hold 1 second. Let me put this caller in queue. The caller from Oklahoma number 3418, the last 4 digit. Please stay. I'll come back to you. The caller from an Oklahoma number 405. I'll come back to you. Please hang on. All right, John? John?
Yeah.
Okay, quick. Let's do this fast. I'm not trying to hold you up long. Moses is asking 2 questions. The first one, operationalize what you mean frantically the Liberian government under George Weah is working. You said that the government is frantically working. Operationalize it.
Frantically?
Hold on now.
Yeah.
The second question here is, tell us 3 important things that the government has accomplished since its inception 5.5 years now.
Yeah, okay. One of the major things government has accomplished
is security. 3 is one up.
I said one I'm giving, you interrupting me.
Okay,
no, interrupting me.
All right, I want to be sure that you understood my
question. But then can you give me the chance? I know you have a side already. But can you give me the chance to yeah, you know, from whence you come.
That's how sedition can say. You don't have a side or you're looking for a job.
Man, I'm not allowed to answer the question. Go ahead, one up.
Yeah, but no.
Go ahead,
I would do something shortly.
Yeah.
I would deal with the elusive comment made by the man he called him Moses. The comment about Boakai cannot go as rappers or cannot go.
But why are you going outside the question?
Complete off tangent because he has nothing to say.
No, John, let's do this quick.
He's off tangent. He doesn't know what to say.
You can do what you want to do.
I'm in the show because I give you details of the stuff. One, security of the country, we're ready to play food security-wise. 2, whether you like it or not, you have civility in the country. With all of you guys talking Volcano, you have visited that country on 4 or 5 occasions in the past 2 years. You enjoy total civility. Another form is that you have the situation of government, one way or the other, try to kind of stabilize the payment salary. even though the driver
come on, man.
they will come back.
After 5 years. After 5 years.
John,
No, but let me find
operationalize the frantically.
Man, I'm telling you, I said you
Working.
guys are better than the Congress security, whether you like it or not.
All right.
I said you want to deny a Volcano.
Okay.
After killing your own auditors?
Let me
You
take
feel
the
like
other-
bro 4-5 times. You Volcano.
let me
you
take the other call. Let me take the other call.
What
No,
you guys
no, please, let me ask you one question. Let me make my comment answer.
Let's move on, man.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, man, let John go sleep.
I said I like the fact I call me ticket because that ticket will be beating my Judge Weah. I like the ticket.
I know.
Thank
Y'all
you.
can be any ticket. I know.
Let me
Y'all
take
gotta go to Prince
Yeah,
Joseph.
let the other caller.
Hold on,
Yeah.
guys. Hold on.
Yeah,
The caller from
if I miss
Oklahoma,
it,
you're live. Your name?
Hey, good evening, guys. This is Abraham calling from Oklahoma City.
Welcome to the
Abraham.
show. Podcast
Yeah.
coming ticket. What's your take?
Hey, Francis, but my Francis, when you start choosing, because the last time I listened to your show, you were supporting Costa as a running mate to Boakai. When you
You
just
see, you don't understand people. You don't
man, you are
understand
that
people.
of man, hobo.
No. You want me to restate what I said
But
quickly?
Boakai and coming ticket, like the people caller just said. Look, that ticket, I will tell you guys, that ticket, if that ticket have started from the initial stage of the CPP, I will tell you, it could have put fear into the government or into the CDC. But where that ticket has reached now with the fight, with the court issues, back and forth, people in such all kind of things happening with them, you put that ticket together, look, Gonglo will benefit, and the CDC, which is the president, will benefit hugely because they both, and you can see it on the social media. Everybody
So
everybody
you're saying that ticket will go nowhere and it will
that ticket will go nowhere.
It will
I
benefit.
think it's a done deal. It's
It will benefit the
finished
CDC,
everything.
and the monster is there already.
Okay.
It may not be among the two leaders, but they're supporters, both in Liberia and and in the diaspora. I can tell anybody that ticket, it will be the easier ticket to be beating. You know why President Biden is praying God if at all he will announce that he's going for re-elections, he's praying God for Donald Trump to run against him because he beat Donald Trump in 2020. If he come by, if he decide to run and Donald Trump win the Republican primary, he will also beat him. That's what he believes. So Joe Boakai beating Joe Boakai. Look, beating Pastor Boakai. Before I leave the line, I will tell people right now, the two county, Nima County and Lofa County, we call it here battleground state. Those two counties now is the battleground county. Carry anywhere. Congo is in the race for the minor bell. Okay. Jeremiah Kuhn is the face of Prince Johnson. We all Jeremiah Kuhn will tell we all Prince Johnson will tell Jeremiah Kuhn as a running mate in Nima County. Nobody. Nobody.
Thank you.
I can tell you so that ticket will be easier to be beating.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to the show.
Thank you for staying with us.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, we got only 3 more minutes to wrap up this segment because we got to go to memory lane and then we got to go for what type of country is this, and that's where now you can put all your what if. Go ahead, Alphonso.
yeah, I was going to say, I was just going to respond. I mean, to a few things real quickly. First, what my brother Dunor said about Kuhn and Kuhn being the runner mate. My concern about that is the Prince Johnson factor and the other things we've been talking about around accountability and stuff. As the gentleman, the caller just said, Jeremiah Kuhn is a production of Prince Johnson. In fact, he's now the political leader of Prince Johnson's political party. He's been put. So are we Liberian people considering that a Jeremiah Kuhn vice presidency could even provide further protection around Prince Johnson, and therefore everybody else, not just Prince Johnson, but everybody else who falls in the same bucket as Prince Johnson? I think that's something we need to look at as well. So if we actually are talking about accountability and the rule of law, we're talking about people under sanctions for all of these things, and we criticize the other people for that. taking Prince Johnson and putting him aside, and then taking Jeremiah Cone, his own creation, I think that's something we should be concerned about. Real quickly, I think it was John Harris. John Harris said the problems that exist in the country existed a long time before. I think that's a very feeble excuse. If a problem existed, if your roof has been leaking 2 years ago or 3 years ago and it's still leaking today, while you're there in the house and came to fix it and you haven't fixed it, you have the bigger problem. You're not the person who was there before. So this whole thing about, oh, it used to happen on Ellington, or it happened before it existed, it came from it is a very flimsy excuse. And I disagree with him when he said there's stability and security in the country. When every day we see, either people are disappearing or people fighting in the streets, or there's chaos and people can, I don't know what he means by safety and security. For the sake of time, I'll just end right here.
Thank you, gentlemen. So where we are now, it's time for memory lane before we get to.
Can you just give me a second?
Yeah, you need to do that, Volcano. No, we're going to be really quick, but Ali, we need to utilize the 3 minutes too.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to demystify the falsehood that Mr. Harris spread. He said the government is working frantically. How can the government be working frantically when civil servants have gone for months without salary? How can the government be working frantically when the man who leads the office of the presidency doesn't go to work? How does he define frantically? How does he talk about accomplishment in terms of national security when Glorious Musu's cow, daughter, was murdered, and up to now we are yet to know who did that? What happened to the auditors? How can he talk about a peaceful and stable country when people are going to bed 6 o'clock in the evening? Harris, you have failed. Maybe he lives in a different world, a world of fantasy. I just want to leave it like that.
Thank you, Francis. 1 minute, quick. Don't count. Open no.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna be real for probably 40 seconds, right?
Okay.
Gentlemen, let me tell you something. We are forgetting something. Democracy, any kind of way you define it, is not a silver platter. And we can have brilliant ideas, brilliant agenda, brilliant prospective public policy to better our people. If we don't get majority, it's zero. And in Liberia, until Liberians, through our government, supported by international community, can make a decision for people to be held accountable for their stewardship, we're not going to go any further. And if we don't get people who have a history of fight, political fight, and won, it's zero. Somebody talk about Harrison Conway. Where did he come from? George Weah total vote with the coalition was 38%. 2017. If you minus 38% from 100%, that's 62%. So the current opposition, on the basis of 2017 election or that record, they got 62% in the bracket. When did George Weah go to win election? He went to the very Prince Johnson got him, talking to Nimba Kante, Prince Johnson got him, and talking to Nigeria, and he became president. That today Prince Johnson is a rebel? I pause my case.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Listen, this is the segment that a lot of you here tonight are looking forward to. Before we get to the what type of country, let me just quickly go down memory lane with Eman and Sumo here today. This is captioned April versus Liberia. Since we are still in the month of April, I want to solicit your views on the following April event in Liberia. In 1978, the Ministry of Agriculture proposed a plan that would stop the importation of parboiled rice, aka pusawa, in Liberia in 1980. The plan would have increased incentives for local farmers or rice farmers to produce rice at the cost of raising tariffs on imported rice. So let's go down memory lane. Do you think that the Ministry of Agriculture proposal to increase the price of pusawa to spur the production of local rice or country rice was a good idea? Your take. You'll know that in 1978, Florence Elida Chenoweth was the Minister of Agriculture in Liberia. Yes, she was. Florence Elida Chenoweth was born on April 2nd, 1945 in Robertsport, Grand Cape Mount County. She was an agriculture and food security expert. She was the first female Minister of Agriculture in Liberia and the first woman to hold such a position in Africa. In Liberia, to eat is to eat rice. Typical Liberian will consider themselves starved if they have not eaten rice a day. Eating rice in Liberia is to eat. What do you guys say? Isn't it true? My man, you can eat kala, you can eat domo, you can eat cassava, you can eat fufu, you can eat.
I'm not eating since the.
You eat your rice.
It's the truth, yeah. It's the truth, yeah.
And I was a memory lane here, written by A. Manin Sumo, a resident of Delaware who has been contributing these memory lanes to the issues room here. We want to thank you, Manin, for the reminder. And
it's a great piece.
Florence went back to the Ministry of Agriculture on her Ellie.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to add to that.
And she didn't even grow one little patch of rice farm. One little patch. You understand me? But I mean, that's the sad thing that's happening in our country. We claim to have these experts, and this woman is as old as Methuselah, but we have no evidence of what she's done for the agriculture industry in our country. And when you say these things, then people tend to take it personal. Why can you take this personal when you know within yourself that is the fact? Gentlemen? Yeah,
I think that the issue of 1979 is really, it's a very touchy issue in Liberia. There are several angles to that. The issue of rice, of course, is a big problem. I would say that going forward, we need an administration, we need a leadership that will support the process. I was in a show the other day, and I also tried to read a lot about other countries, Singapore, etc., that had nothing, no resources. Even Israel, which was a sand dune, also navigate their way to become, fairly wealthy countries today, and a country that feeds itself is really a stable country. So,
but in fact, you should what you call add in Libya.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a straight in Libya. Look at what Gaddafi did with our country. I mean, we just don't mean well for ourselves.
That is it. And until we stop looking at tribalism, until we start looking at empty popularity, until we stop looking at what's in it for me, which is what position I will get, and until we begin to hold people accountable who rob the resources and rob us blind, and until we elect the right qualified people who will put the proper policies, we are doomed.
Yeah. But listen, man, I'm having no problem with getting this stuff on the screen, so I don't know why it's doing this. My share button is not clicking here tonight. It's just acting up here. So
yeah, because you brought Joseph Boakai and Cummings Marisha, that's why.
Yeah.
But it's not going to work.
Yeah. So honestly, we are where we are. So let's say here now ladies and gentlemen, it's time for what type of country is this? What type of country is this?
Don't even get Moses started.
What type of country is this when certain politicians want to see themselves back in position? They are forcing one pape and one middle-aged man to merge to be president and vice president. What type of country is this that they can leave the people to themselves so they can decide? What type of country is this?
What type of country is this that people are literally campaigning to be selected as vice presidential candidate? What type of country is this, my man, that people have to campaign?
and not only that they campaign, but just the fact that the name got somewhere in the picture now, they feel entitled.
Yeah,
that is why the old man confused now. Because just the announcement of their names have created an entitlement, and so he confused. He doesn't know who to take.
Yeah,
Alphonso?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're throwing a lot of names at him. So it's even like
so he's not confused.
You got Henry Costa who been running all over the place promoting the old man, and then his name is also, being considered.
Yeah.
You got Yombly with
the
Grand
$10 million deal, they didn't go through now. So,
you got Prince Johnson. The other day, I saw this publication from one of the papers, Prince Johnson, saying he was rethinking, the whole thing about the vice presidential, I mean, because he was not being considered in the discussion. But hey, Prince Johnson, is this about you?
So let's run here quick. Adia from Australia says, what type of country is this when civil servants don't take pay for months and they're still going to work?
Yes. What type of country is this, John Harris?
And John Harris
John Harris, what type of country is this?
John Harris said the government is frantically working.
Yeah. And then people go to work, they don't take pay, but they still continue.
And the president will leave the country and spend 48 to 50 days watching football game and get $96,000 pay.
Yeah, what type of country is this, John Harris?
Mose, they say when they went to Langley, the prayer was blood of Jesus.
Yeah.
What type of country?
Blood of Jesus.
Blood of Jesus.
Then the other man was
But you didn't hear the news? What type of country is this? When the president is a president, there's a DJ, he's a musician, he's a comic book dancer, and the president is a pastor. What type of country is this?
And I didn't quite say what DJ Keke.
DJ Keke. That Paku is strong. What type of country is this that talk show wants to be vice president? Now he ran away from his own show and we're see press conferences.
What type of country is this? What type of country is this when the men who were running all over the country wanted to be senatorial candidate, but now you have to downsize.
Downsize to be representative.
To be represented. The people kid, they said, she no gas for the car. I said, but why are you telling me?
but what type of country is this? Where a talk show who calls himself CEO, and left me. He stay won't go high there and wait for his place. He's still trying to show face.
Yeah.
What type of country is this?
When it comes to show the people call you CEO, you say former CEO. But come on, man, Mr. Witherspoon.
And he's supposed to be former CEO, right? Because
Yeah.
he gave the
Whatever country is here, when the former CEO is being prosecuted for fraud, and at the same time you mounting up social platform to discuss about corruption in Liberia. What kind of country is it?
Go ahead.
What kind of country is this?
Well,
You
you
got
budget-
$114 million crime hanging over your shoulder.
but you still discussing fraud, and you still discussing
Yeah, you still going after John Weah. Whatever country is this, what a sport.
Go ahead, Francis.
But I want to say this, right? What type of country is this? When making to all.
No, make it all have to run to Liberia.
But listen, why you're laughing small? Adia almost says, what type of country is this when a patient have to buy the medication from a particular pharmacy and show receipt before being treated?
Yeah. They say go bring medication. You bring the medication. They say where you got it from. So, I took the medication from my house. They say, no. We want to see the receipt. Whatever country.
Shaggy McAfee, what type of country is this? Hashtag when you building your house, the trusted driver is building his own house too. The materials. He comes to you and double everything the contractor wants. Example, 2 bags of cement. He comes to you and tell you he needs 4 bags of cement. 2 for you and 2 for him. This.
Whatever country is this?
Emmanuel Jackson, what type of country is this? The young female citizens are selling the private parts on social media.
Oh my
God. On their phones. This is serious and shows the extent of poverty in Liberia.
What type of country is this, man?
Yeah,
Woo! That's too graphic.
Yeah, but it's happening. A lot of these
countries. That's a little, they call it naked picture. What type of country is this?
Yeah.
When women are sharing their naked picture on social media.
Yeah, what type of country is this? What type of country is this? When the lawmaker is paid, he goes to the bank and he check bounces on him. What type of country is this? The pay you can call by he went to the
That means he hasn't been paid. I just getting piece of paper. They know no money there.
But not only that, I believe only him to took that advantage of.
Yeah. To make sure he didn't get money.
Why would you treat an honorable man like that? You better man go to the bed to catch a chair bounce. They're trying to say so.
Shaggy McAfee wants to give us a throwback quick. What type of country is this when your Nigerian friends see you and ask you, how's your Boakai president now?
Yeah. What type of country is this? They met at just Boakai. What type of country is this?
Yeah.
So, round of jab, Francis, what type of country is this where everyone is a politician just to obtain a government job?
That's true, Rana.
That's a very fair statement.
Fair. I don't want a piece of the power, my man. What type of country is this?
Let's go back to this. What type of country is this that a talk show host wants to be vice president? Now he runs away from his own show and wearing
having press conference.
That's the guy. Yeah. Is that the guy from Delaware, the Moses State?
Yeah, my man. What type of country is that? It has been almost a month now. Almost a month now since the man went off air.
I think they're continuing now for that position. the vice president position.
Yeah.
But until
Almost a month.
he tell the mill for him Boakai lap, you're not getting that job. It was sort of give 30 million for the campaign.
No, the message are not true. The message are not true.
15 upfront, 15 first payment, 15 second payment.
What type of country is there?
What about country is there? You pay for your electricity, it can go anytime, and you can't call anybody.
No customer service.
Frantic effort, according to John Harris. Frantic effort.
You may print it.
What type of country is there? What type of country is there when you go to the transport ministry? You register your vehicle, but your license plate never comes. All they gave you is a receipt. What type of country is
But to be honest, Moses, I think again is the same incompetence and backwardsness we're talking about. Yeah. Why should they keep printing lesson play every year? Just keep the same lesson play.
You want more money
on it. You save a lot of money. People still pay the same amount, but you just give them a sticker, and that's revenue generation.
You know. And but even for the guys who are taking the new vehicles, right, Volcano, you can speak to that because
I've gone to Liberia.
You registered.
I came back. I went back the next time. The license plate was all on somebody's car.
And the one that pay for.
But remember now, I paid for it, so it's legitimate. All the the person getting the money put in the pocket.
Yeah, that was
so
it.
The scary thing is the license plate is in my name.
Exactly.
So if something happens there,
what if something happens? It's you.
How do you transfer license plates? So the one for Volcano Shelter, you give it to Moses Seni.
Moses
the one for Moses Seni, you give it to Volcano Shelter. When Moses Seni commits a crime, then they say, "Oh, that Volcano Shelter."
Yep.
Shaggy McAfee, what type of country is this that prescribes medication before treatment? Medicine and then come back for treatment. I thought the prescription is for you to take home.
What type of country is it that the doctor will get upset and discharge you immediately?
Immediately. They don't care whether you survive
medication from the pharmacy.
What type of country is this that all of our guests from Liberia can be sweating and using towel?
Because the towel big enough to take all that sweat.
I see President getting towel.
Alphonso, this is LRB.
And he on the towel small, but Dr. What is his name?
Amos.
Dr. Amos tower was so big it was
but now you got to understand they made a doctor, so you got to be bigger.
What type of country is there when a presidential candidate appears in the issue room, they say, why do you want to be president? He said, because I got too much education. If I'm looking for people to get something.
He said,
I wish I could share it.
Yes, I could get something to look, man.
I got too much education. You got less than 6 months to election, but he has not registered.
He's there waiting for certificate.
He called himself Greater Action Party of Liberia.
You look at that whole thing, that one-man show. One-man show.
How you going to minimize unemployment? You say I will hire 30,000 people every month.
How you going to improve the national security? The police officer will take a minimum.
But he didn't tell you where he will take the money from to pay the people.
Each other.
Start teasing our guests so they can come back.
They say, how you going to manage with education? He said, I will be everybody to go to school.
No, he said they will work half day.
They will work half day
and go to school.
You go to West Sumner and leave by 12.
Then
Then you go sleep.
You go sleep smart. You go sleep smart. You go sleep smart.
Then when I question about what have been his rule, he say I lived 42 years in America, I lived 42 years in Liberia. And my family owned Pinsway and we sold it out.
So then how do you reconcile? The question is, where do you live?
Where do you live? So I come by here every 2 years. Every 2 years.
That's not the question.
Okay. So what type of country is this? Contracts for road construction are in review to the county officials about the projects.
Yeah, can you imagine that? It's a top
Everything
secret, my
on the
man.
water, my man. Everything in the water. So criminals.
Yeah.
Raymond Clark, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us in Dallas, Texas. Thomas,
what type-
my man feels so tired about the country now. He just said, listen, what type of country is this? Where yellow jaundice is a
It's still
major
illness.
Yeah,
Thomas.
man tired.
Yeah.
Thomas tired.
Shaggy McAfee. What type of country is this? That the police haven't solved rather a crime since no time.
Yeah.
Since
They're still investigating it. What phrase they can use?
What type of country is it?
Conclusive, we want a logical and
logical. We investigating will be a logical.
Logical conclusion.
Logical conclusion.
Logical
We get to
conclusion.
logical conclusion.
They don't get to any conclusion.
What type of country is
One
this where the
result.
police came out with people? They said that they arrested arms and ammunition at the free port, but they are still yet to come to logical conclusion with the investigation.
What type of country is this?
No, go ahead.
Before you come here, Thomas Awaji said, what type of country is this? Where every illness they put you on a drip.
On drip.
Yeah. Whether you diabetes, my man, they say you put water.
No, that's
on
why
it,
you
man.
die.
And so they tell you the first thing they say, my man, you put water on it, man.
Manisumo asks, what type of country is this when every patient is diagnosed with having typhoid?
Yeah, typhoid and malaria.
Yeah, very common, my man. I think that woman that went to the hospital in Lova, they diagnosed her with typhoid. And they told us, hey, go buy the medicine.
Good to see you. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Let's get this from our man, Emmanuel Jackson. What type of country is this? The foreign minister is a standard bearer for a political party and hasn't resigned as yet.
Oh, he's not going to resign. He's a representative of the six political party that joined the CDC. So he's not going to resign.
Kimaya. Yeah, and I move.
Yeah, move. He represented the
former governor. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, Mills Jones.
Mills Jones, yeah.
What type of country is this? John Carl Harris. He said,
what kind of sweet country?
What kind of sweet country is this when people falsely castigate the country and go free?
But John, what you want them to do to the people? Beat them?
So what type of country is this when the CDC, John Harris, said the government is creating jobs? And
that's free speech. People should say
creating jobs, but you can't pay the people.
What type of country is this when city mayors are all appointed by the president?
Yeah, what type of country is this?
No election.
Yeah.
Tyrone Marshall, LRN. Welcome, Tyrone. What type of country is this? There's no drugs within the various hospitals, but yet we are still building new ones.
What type of country is this? That's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Absolutely good one. Jonka, what do you say after that? No drugs in the hospital, but you still
they're still building new one.
You're building
the most recent one, I think the one the president built what the military what
the military hospital.
14, number 14 military hospital.
Yeah, military hospital.
Let's grab
no drugs.
What type of country is this hashtag that the president or government can spend $200,000 to rent a car while in London, but the Liberian embassy doesn't have any cars?
Yeah,
It makes sense to spend the money to buy cars for the embassy versus renting. Just shit more. 200,000. This guy. I mean, listen. This president needs to go, man. This president.
My car will come for you.
John already told you. John already told you. Got aside. You know that, right?
If this is true, that the embassy doesn't have cars, and you're gonna go to the country.
When you're talking about cars.
But
they have not even getting paid since
December. They haven't even gotten paid. The banking
December. They are the verge of being evicted from their apartments.
What type of country is this where people are selling color? While the poo-poo water run right through in front of you.
The people look the other way, eat a color, my man.
Can you imagine that? Yeah. People selling color and the poo-poo water.
Man, that thing, not even minor issue that you issue already. That no more. That be.
Let's grab this from Randolph. Randolph Francis, what type of country is this where stealing from the country is only a crime when the stolen money is taken out of the country, but legal when it's used in the
country? So Magay said that, then the U.S. said, okay, we're coming for you.
Ibrahim Sano, welcome to the show for the first time. We'd like to say thank you for joining us from the UK. Make the Issues Room a place where you can hang out. We appreciate your viewership. Let's go back to Adiaha Umo. What type of country is this when our sweet Liberia has been thrown in the gutter? And not just in the gutter, but thrown in the drainage. Yeah. Because at least the gutter, sometimes it can be dry, but the drainage, the water carrying it, you know. I'm telling you, it's sad.
It's a very sad situation. What type of country is this that you work for the University of Liberia for over 40 years? As a professor, you get retired. You are paid a pension benefit of $100 a month. What type of country is this? And even you're gone for 5 months without pay.
Without pay, exactly.
What type of country is this?
Right. What type of country is this? The foreign minister goes to Ghana. Foreign survey officer didn't pick him up, and he's fired.
Say that again.
Okay.
The foreign minister.
What type of country is this? Foreign minister traveled to Ghana, and foreign survey officer did not join his colleague to go to work at the airport, and he gets fired.
What type of country is this?
And worked for Minister of Foreign Affairs for 45 years. Oh. When I joined there, he had already worked 23 years. They recall the guy. At the foreign ministry, when they recall you, you are fired. Yeah. And the funny part about it, the guy been here little over 2-3 months. They took it in from payroll.
Hey, man.
I put it here publicly, yeah.
That's sad.
This foreign minister.
That's only because the men did not show up to work.
And guess what? The funny part about it, they both come from Weah district.
Oh my God.
But Volcano, you get a man suit? The foreign minister suit. His inauguration suit.
Remember, Jackson, what type of country is this? The group of 77 disabled citizens ain't taken care of since CDC came to power.
Yeah.
Because of their time.
Newport Street crying for help.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But
and you know,
did you not see the people protesting the other day, Volcano?
I wanted to say, customarily, the first lady.
Yes.
The one is the responsibility of the vice president.
But their money, their budget actually falls under the vice president.
Yeah, the vice president runs.
That's where the budget goes.
And
don't worry about you.
And I know Mr. Taylor was criticizing Boakai, but under Boakai, under the LA administration, at least they used to go play games in America, travel around the world, and get food. I'm surprised that, of what Emmanuel is saying here.
Yeah.
What type of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where only seditious in the diaspora can see the development?
Seditious such as John Harris.
Most John Harris, my man.
Other John Harry can see the development.
And the government is frantically working.
They measure the government is frantically working. They say need 3 development. You start talking about security.
Security. And then he said, what? Stability?
The security. They say, my man, what happened to the auditor? He said, oh man, I wasn't.
Yeah.
America come back, he come back, watch it, I'll really be. Well, what type of country is this? If we don't get it right, this election, we as a country may be on the brink of no return. Where is sweet Liberia? Our sweet Liberia.
Yeah. What type of country is this?
Well, listen here. John Carl Harris come back and say, what kind of sweet country is this that the Liberian people are enjoying total serenity and stability? This cannot be seen anywhere until Sierra Leoneans are begging for a George Weah type presidency, which is the best so far in West Africa.
Oh my God, what a delusion.
Abu is strong.
Welcome,
what type of country is this, John?
It's good to see you. But let's get this one from Melepele Sumo. What type of country is this when the election commission can only conduct elections for the president, vice president, and the legislature, but no election for mayors, chiefs, paramount, clan, general town chiefs, as per the constitution of the country? What type of country?
Absolutely. What type of country is this?
Yeah, that is under Article 56. Yeah.
Tara Master, what type of country is this that senior government officials do not alert their foreign missions before traveling to said country? Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
So they just show up and then they expect the people to go wait for them.
Yeah. If you don't go, you are fired, brother.
Hey, man.
If you don't go, you are fired. They don't care how long, especially this guy.
So they don't even care as to how you get there. You're in a foreign land.
My brother,
not taking pay. How do you get to the airport?
I was talking about today. If you're working at foreign ministry today, you live in fear. When Kamayas is entering the building, everybody salute. If you don't do it, they change your position.
Wow.
I was there 2 days ago.
And you salute?
I've been as you know, Nigeria may say abomination, right?
What
if I were ever there, probably I've gone ever since.
Wow.
What type of country is this, Tama? Waji says that you can catch malaria 3 times a month.
What type of country is this?
What type of country is this, John McAfee? John McAfee, Shaggy McAfee, where John Harris can talk nonsense while living in America. If you believe that this government is the best in West Africa, why are you not living in Liberia?
John Harris in trouble.
John Harris can talk nonsense while living in America. Yep.
John Harris mentioned why you can't take your children to Liberia.
What type of country is it when the president picture is all over the place, all over the street?
All over the
country
street?
Is this? Everywhere, Pastor Joe, we have photo. Every day is a campaign for the man. Every single day is a campaign. Yep. Everywhere, Pat. From red light all the way to Duco.
So what type of country is this that politicians now put a paper here against? He won't say he confused now. He know what to do with the vice president.
They confuse the old man.
All kinds of names. Everybody bringing their own name.
Everybody got all that on the list.
Yeah. What type of country is this? Everybody got
it, man. They say, Chief, you know, the other time we went to Maria and I didn't make brought some money for the hotel bill. Oh, Chief, you know that man says to cook the quesadilla.
Oh, God.
You got to look at that list, go.
Chief, the small thing with the thing that you took the ERW when you were sick the other day.
Yeah.
The man wrote that check for your treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody,
What
local,
about country is this? When government officials want to go to election, resign, and withdraw their resignation letter. What type of country is this?
Tell you, what type of country is this?
Government official resign as
And
per the
withdraw the
executive order.
resignation letter?
They withdrew it. You know, I'm not ready. I changed my mind.
What ministry is that, my man?
Mr. Labor.
You resign, you surrender. You take in your resignation, then you withdraw it.
So there is the executive order job we are came up with.
April 7 was the deadline.
Yeah, which is another actually incompetence on his part. There's already a code of conduct that called for that. It's 1 year.
Yeah.
But you let it slide, you didn't enforce it, you don't even need executive order. You just need to remind him, Mama, you gotta go. Say you want to run.
Yeah.
The law say 1 year. But 5-6 months to election, then come up with new executive order telling the people to go. Moses called it, let me call it. They met with representative.
Yeah.
He lost in Lofa. Joey are saying to Labor. From Labor, they're saying to Aviation Authority. The man, he resigned, he won't go. He passed through the backyard. But George Mobile from NPP, he used to be representative in Boakai.
Yeah.
He's the acting there. That's what's going on now.
Let's go back quick.
Oh, wow.
What type of country is this? Where government officials visit businesses asking for their salary?
That's when they go to see the Lebanese boys.
Oh, yeah, they do that. They do that.
One more Saturday. But let's check this out, John Carson. What type of country is this? And media practitioners spew lies and deception. Wrongly criticize government, allow that tying the cause of press freedom.
As opposed to the territorial government across Africa.
But listen, John, I think it's incumbent upon the government to ensure press freedom. And I'll give Weah the credit. He's done well in that direction. But in the same token, he said he will slap Henry Costa 3 times. Weah.
Upholding press freedom, is mandatory. It's not
what type of country is this where the president scoops to the level?
It's not by choice, yeah.
And threatens to slap him 3 times.
Yeah, to slap another man. What type of country is this?
Yeah. And he didn't stop there. What kind of country is this where the president will refer to his critic as enemy of the state?
Yeah, what type of country is
this?
But what type of country is this where the president sees a former government official in the previous government who is now with a political institution, came for an accord where everyone signs the document to maintain peace in the country, and he points to the guy and says, "You enjoying freedom now?"
Yeah.
You know, he stole my car.
He stole my car. And he just came from signing a peace accord.
Yeah. Shaggy McAfee. What type of country is this? So-called rescue mother having rescued anyone? Who are you rescuing?
What type of country is this?
Party while the people you're supposed to be rescuing you can't even attend your party.
You can't attend your party because no way to get there.
Party. Let's
what type of country is this?
Birthday party.
Yeah.
So Moses,
yeah.
What type of country is this? That since the president returned from the CIA briefing, he has gone cold.
Quiet.
Yeah. Very cold. He has not done any speech on it on his pulpit.
But maybe it was no prayer out there.
Not has he made any music. And according to this business, you have reaped benefit for the country.
Yeah.
No, but you hear about the 50 billion?
No, we'll pass that one. We're talking about the CIA team here. Why is this president quiet on the CIA team? But and he transitioned from the CIA headquarters to the Middle East.
UAE.
$50 billion carbon money, right? But what really happened at the CIA headquarters? What do you speculate, Moses?
The top secret.
Make it all.
It is classified, cannot be disclosed.
18 hours smartphone in a play. Yes, Colasco. When I was saying something, they say, "As if in a low."
Be quiet.
She wanted to enter the office. The guy asked, "Ma'am," she turned around. And so, where are you going? No, chief. You said, "Chief for what?" Oh, what did you say, protocol? And you need to step aside. Then she went to Colasco to complete. Colasco said, "My sister, lay low." You see the man inside there sweating there? You want to say that? He said, "Hey, Allah." They said, what's the problem with you? Is he schizophrenic?
But listen to Moses. Shaggy McAfee said, what type of country is this where the CIA can seize the sitting president phone?
They said, "Look, my man will want to look at your phone calls." No,
What type of country is it where the deputy speaker can serve a private attorney to the president?
And yeah, they say he was pleading the blood of Jesus in a meeting. Emmanuel Jackson.
No, bleeding the blood, oh. Jesus, my man.
The country is, oh man, the country is draining down, man. Hey, right now, LRB, it's so funny, but it is the way it is.
But what type of country is this, gentlemen, that the citizens are their own problems?
I know.
The citizens are their own problems. And why are you fighting for them? They're fighting against you. I'm not kidding you. For instance, you're right there. You can see it. You're fighting for the people. They're fighting against you who fighting for them. What type of country is this?
I'm kind of, I've been saying it and I will say it again. I kind of got different view on that. If we were to take practical statistics, for example, out of 100%, opportunity, probably we found 2% for everyday people. And, you know, I've been getting on the KK myself. I can, dangerous.
Francis, stop that. What do you mean 2% for everyday people? You mean 2%?
I mean, the point I'm making here is opportunity that the government is supposed to provide for the people to be hopeful. For example, I can still remember Charles Taylor days. We were really struggling on Broad Street, Kiri Street, intersection, Gary, and everywhere there, trying to find a car. Today, you don't struggle to find a car on Broad Street at 6 o'clock. By 5:45, 6, everybody gone.
Wow.
Yeah, because people trying to get out of the street.
People are literally getting out of the street. They come in their neighborhood. Like where I live, those smaller nightclubs, people go there and chill a little bit. Okay? People are gone, my brother. You find more motorbikes, even the taxi driver right now.
Oh no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. The next movable object you find is keke. Okay, and it's not just about young people now. They are mixed.
But why you not
elderly people? Guess what?
Why you not adding push?
Oh, they got push. Which one is that?
Push is the one that pull the water in. That one, by the time you do it 1 or 2 years, you get honey. That push right there, my brother.
Also, the one that carry a gallon of water.
Hold on now.
Yeah, the one with the gallon of water, where they can be.
Hold on, Francis. So what they do? They take 2 car tires with a wheel ring, and they water it and make it like.
I know what you're talking about.
Like a wagon.
Yeah,
you push it from the back,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm talking about literally pushing from Broad Street to Peaceville. And then they carry building material, 50 bag of cement.
What?
Man, life is hard, oh.
Yeah,
Life is sad. Let me tell you something. You know the worst disease or the worst diagnosis is poverty.
But listen,
Moses,
President,
poverty in the country.
President, 1 second.
I'm telling you something.
President,
Real poverty here.
I beg you 1 second quick. So you're talking about everybody going home before you even get done. Listen to Shaggy McAfee. Even police are going.
the police go on.
The first to leave. So you even see police around.
You see police there, you will stand up?
Are you a stand
That
wow.
John Carl Harris said,
Security.
that's good security.
Oh,
Yeah,
I went to
right?
I went to District 10, right?
Yeah.
When I first came, I went to that first thing I did. I went to District 10 because the people that work for Election Commission, the police, the entire national security apparatus, they're supposed to be neutral. I was so surprised. Police officers came over there and said, me, I'm voting for Yeke. I'm voting for Joseph Boakai. Let me just let you know. In my presence, another police officer sitting down there, assigned there, and he may just look and say, "My me are talking my team. We can't keep this thing here. They gotta go." Wow. This is a police officer in his uniform, badge, and not even in color clothes.
But man, in fact, I heard a police officer today on Spoon saying that they are so stressed out that they are the least paid, and even the salary doesn't come on time.
No.
All right, gentlemen.
My brother,
this
is the first time I see the government steal their own money. That money is stealing. What kind of country is this?
So
the people put money in the budget for furniture. You go to foreign ministry, you see those chairs, those furniture are big. But they put it in the budget. And it's there again. But they don't pay for it, they take the money. I get one office. That's my own office. Let me talk about it. I'm telling you, it is sad.
You cannot?
People
like, if you don't call one retrogression, I don't know how you say it.
John can say you lying like hell, but John can.
Why you get that? Me, I'm sitting right here talking there. You not here, John?
The man right in Monrovia, John can.
I read it in LRB, brother.
Yeah, but it's understandable. John is a fanatic, So what do you expect?
Says, whatever country is this that the police can only get paid when the people protest?
Now the police going around and begging the people to protest so they can get paid.
Because the government has no option but to say, my man, you have something.
There's something, my man, you have to control the crowd.
Stop the crowd.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
It was a great show, man.
I like that. But gentlemen, let's go around the room and wrap this all.
There is no hopefulness here. There is no hopefulness.
Yeah, it's a great show.
We're going 2.5 hours. A minute quick, man. Why you leaving your thoughtfulness? What is it? Let's start with Francis. You're the one waiting for LEC. You don't want burning data. We gave
a
quick 1 minute.
To be honest with you guys, I want to say again, thank you plenty for the invite. And you know what? I'm staying here. I live for a few more weeks. I'm here. As ugly as Liberia is, this is our home. And that's why we continue to come here every year to do our little thing that we can do. Even our present year is a blessing for other people. Yeah. And we are so grateful to our God. But on the political front, I can guarantee you, Judge Weah going to be one-time president, Donald Trump in America. He will be prosecuted, just how Donald Trump is being prosecuted, because Judge Weah and Donald Trump actually got similarity. He has a foreign woman as a first lady that says she loved Liberia when she did not love Liberia for almost 40 years. When her husband was making money from football, she never loved Liberia. She is getting about $750,000 from our tax dollar, and she's making mortgage out of Liberians, and she doesn't live with her husband Good job for them. Just we are going to be one-time president. Already in Liberia saying that they can say they're going to win us. No problem. That democracy, we're going to beat them like Guinea Dumbo. All I can say is, if you are not registered to vote, the second phase, go and register to vote. Me, I'm voting for Joseph Boakai. I'm voting for Yeke Kolba. So that all I got to tell you, that's it, and let's hold it tight. These people, they're going to go. I can tell you for free, there are more good people in this country than bad people. And seditions are bad people. I say so. Because we see it, they do it every single day.
Okay, Francis. Thank you.
The only investment they got here, the motorbikes and keke. That's it.
Wow.
Even the fuller stores are closing.
Really?
Because they keep begging there. They go there for weekends. As much as they are stealing, they go to the fuller people, the Indian boys, the Lebanese boys, they go to them for weekends. And who pay that money?
For the people of Volcano?
The general consumer. It's not really that people don't want to work. I carried people to my project site today. They were so happy. They got something better. They didn't have to get on a motorbike today.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
My people, thank you, for having me.
Yeah, it was up.
Oh, sorry, Moses.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, I think that's it, man. We're going too far. Let's call it a night. We'll be back here on Friday, hopefully, as God will have it. I thought it was a great show. We had fun. Thanks for joining us here tonight. One of these days, we'll bring you in, John, to be a panelist, and let's hear from you. Emmanuel Jackson would say thank you, Shaggy McAfee, for your continued contribution to the What Type of Country Is This? Thomas Awaji, also, it was nice seeing you here tonight. Manan Sumo, of course, from Memory Lane. Continue to bring those things to us. Marilla Moore, for the laughter, we say welcome and thank you for joining us. Tyrone Marshall, I hope you enjoy your stay here in the US. I really got to catch up with you. I'm so busy, but I will try to. Manipele Sumo, thank you for also coming through here tonight. A lot of folks here, Randolph Francis, Abraham Sano, we say thank you. Adia Umo, Leslie Thomas, my friend and brother, welcome and thank you. Raymond Clark, for being here with us tonight. We say thank you to everyone. Sometimes we like to call the names of those who spend an hour plus with us, John Kokopi, Yamfor, Richard Hammer, Agnes Finda Samukai, Bernard O'Connor, of course, thank you. J. Romeo K. Nabil, Judah Farr. Man, listen, what happened to you, brother? It's been a while. Hope you're good out there in Europe. Flomo Livingstone, you hanging out in Liberia. Good to hear from you. Joseph Conto, thanks for the call and contribution to the show tonight. Fergie Moyu, of course. Edward Nefor, thank you for joining us here tonight to make this show a wonderful one. It was good having all of you guys here, and we say thank you, Namento Nino Brown, for joining us as well. We say thank you. Ahmad Freeman, welcome back, my brother. Thank you. Tantan, Kowu Gloria Voga Moba, thank you. Thank you. Good to see you folks, Mapu Hall, for being here with us. Moses?
Yes, Iraq. Yeah, man. It was a pleasure being here. Look forward to coming back on Friday for another great presentation. Thank you. I know we're going to figure out something. Yeah, enjoy evening, my man.
All right. Good night, everyone. We'll catch up with you Friday.